Hello, welcome to the Inner Goddess Interviews. Today I am really pleased to welcome Patricia Talavera. I'm chatting with women who are following their passions and their soul path and really making positive changes in their lives and in the world. And today, coming from over the pond for me, is Patricia, and she has SaveYourTimeBizSolutions.com, where she does all kinds of wonderful business design and marketing and branding. She's like the go-to person if you want a new website. And oh, well, anyway, welcome. Let's find out more.
Hi.
Hi. Now, you've got a really interesting story in your business because you actually work with your twin sister and your husband, and you survive, and you were smiling. Can you tell us about how that came about?
Oh, sure. So a few years ago, my sister was an army wife, and she was just having a hard time finding anything that fit her. And so she was like, I think I'm going to go into business for myself. And I had tried the corporate path coming out of college because I was supposed to get my PhD, and then I was like, I'm tired of school. Let me just get a job. So I tried the corporate thing, and I was working 70 plus hours a week, commuting an hour each way, and I was just getting burned out. And I was just getting really tired of basically being told you can't succeed without putting your personal life and your husband or whatever on the back burner. Like, work always has to come first. And I'm like, I don't think that's the case. So, between me and my sister, we're like, you know what, we're smart enough. I think we can do this. So we started our own business, and then we've actually gone from trying to do basic admin work to social media to whatever. And then, last year we really honed down on it. And we're like, you know what? We like doing websites. I think that's what we're good at, and that's what we like to do. And I really want to do that. And my husband has been in design for I think 13 years now, and so we're like, you know what? I think we're gonna make you a bigger part of the company, not just because we had his experience to kind of back us up, but because he does really awesome work. I mean, I know I'm probably a little biased, but I think he does really awesome work. So, and the feedback that we've gotten from everybody about his work is just like, wow, it's amazing. So it's been really good kind of making him a bigger part of what we do. And it's not to say that it doesn't have its challenges trying to be like partners while being married and being a partner with my sister, but it's been overall a good experience. It's just a few more kinks to work out.
Oh, there's always going to be kinks, isn't there? That's just
That's true.
life. So, you're living if there's kinks to work out. So.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. There's always going to be something to work out.
How did you overcome the fear? It must have been quite scary to go from a corporate job where you're packing in all those hours to working for yourself. Did you do it gradually, or did you just jump?
Actually, I did it gradually because when I was in college, I worked at a daycare center on campus because I was gonna switch my major at some point to early childhood education. So when I decided I wanted to leave my corporate job, I got a nanny job instead, working part-time, so I at least brought in some money, and that there was a little bit more of a transition. So I didn't actually do full-time self-employed until maybe a year and a half later.
Right. Was it still a scary move? Was there
Yeah.
doubt?
No, it was a really scary move to say, okay, I no longer have a paycheck coming every 2 weeks, so I just kind of have to hustle. So I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that my husband has just been so supportive of me. I mean, even before I had that other job lined up, I told him that my work was getting to be too stressful, and it got to the point where he was like, if you want to walk out today, walk out. We'll figure it out. And so he was really supportive in that way. And even when I took the nanny job, which obviously came with a massive pay cut, he was just really supportive of that. So, and every time along the way when I've kind of thought, this is crazy, maybe I can't do this, and then he's the one that's gonna tell me, no, I know you can do this. I know you can. It's just taking a little longer, but it's gonna happen for you. You just have to stick with it. So having a really supportive husband, it's been huge in trying to help me overcome the fear of actually getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, it's scary enough starting your own business, and when you've gone from, like you said, a regular paycheck to all of a
Yeah.
sudden the realization that, oh my God, I am responsible, completely responsible for my income, and which
Yeah.
ultimately means food on the table for everybody. It is really scary, but at the same time, it's kind of exhilarating as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it is really, it's really scary, but at the same time, the freedom of being able to do what feels right for you is huge, because I dealt with that a lot in one of my past jobs where I just felt like something here is wrong, even on like an ethical level, but I couldn't do anything about it because they're like, well, it's going to be dealt with, but it's not your problem. And I'm like, I can't live like that, you know what I mean? So it's really nice to be able to say, you know what, this is my line and I'm not going to cross it. And everything else that kind of comes with being a business owner, that to me means a lot, that I can run the business how I want to run it, regardless of what anybody else says, because at the end of the day, it's my business.
And you fit it in with your daughter as well, Isabel.
Yeah. Yeah, she actually came along um, right when I was getting ready to finish graduate school. So that kind of made things a little bit more challenging. So I had to take my final exams while trying to do the business while she was around 6 months old. So it was quite a packed 2 months for me trying to make that happen. So,
I'm surprised you don't have any grey hairs, Patricia. How did you do that?
yeah. Yeah, I have a few new gray hairs because of that, but she makes everything worth it most of the time.
It's difficult to combine motherhood with business. Have you got any tips that you can share with people? Because I'm sure that there are hundreds of women who would love to be brave enough to follow, the soul calling to start their own business, but they've got childcare issues and they've got kids. And how do you fit it all in? Have you got any suggestions and tips for women?
I think the biggest thing for me is finding a way to kind of take care of yourself. Like, I think that, people, at least there are moms out there that are like, oh no, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. I understand that, and I'm not saying that stuff isn't important, but at the end of the day, like, you have to take care of yourself. And it becomes that much more important when you're a business owner. Like, for example, I started a workout program about 5 weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I've been making the time to work out like 30 minutes a day, every day. With okay, I missed a couple days, but most days 30 minutes a day. And it's just made such a big difference in like how productive I am and in my mood and in how I interact with my daughter, because I don't always feel like I have to put myself last. So even though it seems like such a luxury to take care of yourself, it's really not. Like, it's going to make a huge difference in everything else. And with me accomplishing my goals, like on that level, like the fact that I finished the one round already, it gives me so much more confidence to take steps in my business that I wouldn't have made before, because it's all a matter of, well, you thought you couldn't do that either, but you could, so there's no reason you can't do this too.
That's really great advice, and I think most people miss that, is that self-care really does have to come before care anywhere else, because if you're not kind of like looking after yourself, how can you be the best parent, the best business owner, the best wife that
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
be?
and I think that's something that a lot of people will miss. But it's like, but it's not really a luxury, is it? Because if you're not operating at your best, what are you really giving to everybody around you? So it really makes more sense for you to just kind of stop and find something, anything, to have for yourself and to honor that. That every day I'm gonna find a way to make this happen, even if you say, okay, well, I can't find 30 minutes a day. Okay, well, find 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, but just something, anything that's yours and like kind of re-energizes you and make it happen. And I think you'll be surprised that the differences you'll start to see everywhere else once all that kind of starts falling into place.
Yeah, a strange thing that I noticed when I made time for myself was that I actually seemed to have more time everywhere else.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out the logistics of that at all.
No, and that's definitely true because like I said, you would think that I would have less time to get stuff done ever since I started working out, but it just seems I get more done somehow, and I'm not as tired obviously because of, getting energy from working out. But yeah, if you had told me a few weeks ago that, all this would be happening, I'd be like, no, I don't have time to do that. But, I made the commitment that I said, you know what, 21 days. Anybody can do anything for 21 days. So I'm going to do it. And I committed to it, and now I'm feeling really good and trying to figure out how I can take it to the next level. So it's just getting started. Like that's the secret to everything. It's get started and then you'll be surprised at how much easier everything gets once you've done the first couple of times. And then you're like, you know what? I do have time for this. Okay, so maybe I can fit another 5 minutes and then another 5 minutes. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much easier everything gets and how much less of a struggle it becomes when you start taking time for yourself and taking care of yourself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to start somewhere as well.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like a missing ingredient sometimes because you can think about doing things for like forever and never doing them. And so good for you. Well done. It'd be interesting to see what your next level is.
Yeah, I already have my next program picked out. I'll be starting in a couple of weeks, but I've been seeing the videos of it, and I'm like, I don't know, that might be a bit much for somebody that hasn't been working out. So let me just take baby steps. So it's on my next to-do list. So baby steps.
Exactly, baby steps. Your business, I'm going to go back to your business for a minute. Because I have been stalking you on the internet, full disclosure, I found an interview, I think it was on Mompreneur. Yeah, I think it was. And you said that you've been playing too small. And I gather that in your business in the last year, you've kind of exploded since you got
Yeah.
clarity that you wanted to just go on, just do websites. So how did you get from realizing that you were playing too small? What was that push that took you to think, nope, I'm going to conquer the world, I'm going to do this and think really huge and massive and, you know, do it?
Well, actually, it was we went to a business retreat last year, and I actually really have to credit them with the explosive growth that we've seen because they were like, I've seen you two, and it seems like you guys are always on the edge of something great, and then you pull back. And they're like, and it's because you're afraid. And I don't know. I mean, I understand you being afraid. They're like, but I feel like if you could just hang on, like great things are gonna happen for you. And me and Lily, we thought about that. And I'm like, you know what? They're right. Like they are absolutely right. Everything that we've done up until now, even though we claimed we were trying to make it work, I think we were always at the back of our mind hoping, I hope nobody sees that. I hope nobody sees that because we didn't really want to get big and we were scared of what would happen if things were actually to take off because I told my husband people think they're afraid of failure, but no, I think more people are afraid of success. What happens if tomorrow all my dreams came true? Crap, now what? So and I think that was a big part of it is that we at the end of the day, even though we claimed we were trying to build this business, we were always finding excuses to keep it small. But so after they pointed that out to us and after we sat there and really thought about it, we're like, okay, well, what do we really want to be known for? So we're like websites because we do like doing them, and I do think that having a really good website could make a huge difference to an entrepreneur. And we actually helped somebody redo her whole online presence, and she was like, ever since you guys did this for me, she's like, not only has my business grown, but she's like, I felt my passion for what I do come back. Like I was starting to lose that, and then you guys did this for me, and it was so huge, and I've gotten such a big response from it that I feel passionate about what I do again. So she's like, so it's really big what you guys did for me, and that's what I want to do. Like that's what I want to help people do. And after helping her with that and kind of realizing the effect that we can have on people and their business, it's like, I'm tired of playing small. It's time to really take it up a notch. So we've been doing a lot more relationship building and connecting with people, and things are finally starting to take off. finally.
I think, yeah, I think you're absolutely right about the fear of success. I think that holds people back a lot more than fear of failure. Because if you fear failure, you're staying where you are already. So there's nothing that's going to change. But if all of a sudden you become successful, your life is going to change, and you don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah,
That's
and I think,
scary.
yeah, it's scary, and I think the big part of it too is kind of like, okay, so what if I suddenly have all the business that I want? How am I really gonna juggle that and everything else I have going on? Like with me, it's like, okay, well, say I do land all those clients, and now I have this much work. How on earth am I gonna juggle that and my husband and my daughter and my sanity and all this other stuff? So I think a lot of overcoming the fear just has to do with sitting down and thinking, okay, so what am I afraid of and what can I do to kind of prepare for that? So like right now, we're systemizing everything in our business so that when my sister has her baby, we can delegate and we can outsource as needed instead of just saying, you know, maybe I will just wait till after the baby's born and then look at how things are and use that as another excuse to not really get anywhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly. When you relaunched your website, did that give you a new kind of vigor for business as well? Was it just like wearing a brand new outfit where you felt all kind of shiny and like prepared to show the world the new you kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, definitely. Because after we came back, I think we got back in like late September. We managed to overhaul everything within like 2 weeks. New logo, new website, new colors. Like we did everything in 2 weeks. And after that, I started saying to myself, you know what? This feels so much more right to me than everything else that we've done in the past. Like this finally feels like what we should be doing, and even the name felt right. And so yeah, that's definitely how it felt.
I suppose unless you start going into business, and if it's a heartfelt business, your website should really reflect who you are, and it's got to. I know a website is like it's on a computer, but it has to feel right, doesn't it? Because it's an
Yeah.
extension of you. And is that what when you work with entrepreneurs, do you like get to know what they want and who they are, so you can help them portray an online image which is congruent with who they are?
Yeah, and I mean that's a big part of the process obviously is getting to know them and what they do, because I mean anybody can put up a website. That's true. I agree. Anybody can use one of the website builders to create themselves a website. But my thing about that is, and it might sound like I say this because I happen to do them for a living, but in reality it's like if you have something that looks like what everybody else has, you're just gonna blend in. Is that really what you want, or do you really wanna stand out? Or like when you look at Leonie's site, you're like, wow, this just feels so her. Like it makes sense for her. And that's what people should be thinking when they look at your website. They should be looking at it, like you said, as an extension of you and your business. And if all you're doing is cutting and pasting from something someone else has, like that's how far is that really going to get you?
Exactly. The whole internet is kind of flooded sometimes with the same things all the time, and you become numb to it after a while. So if you're serious about your business, you do need something that people will remember. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you're gonna blend into the background, and you're never gonna have the business that you want. So I think it's really important. You're doing a great spiritual service for people, and
Yeah,
you get
definitely.
yeah, and there's and you will brand them social media as well if people want it.
I mean, social media isn't really our thing. We can help them, like with the technical stuff, and my husband can redesign their images and stuff so it has like a consistent brand.
Yeah,
Because that was one of the things that I've noticed before. So I'm like, if I'm on your Twitter page and then your Facebook page and then your website, and I can't tell that's all you, that's a problem. So there has to be some kind of unity. Otherwise, people will be like, I think I'm on the wrong page, and then they just click off, and then you just lost that business because there's no kind of consistency among your branding. So that's a part of what we do too, because I mean, it matters. If people don't understand that you're the same person, then they might be like, okay, well, I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be, and then that's it. You know what I mean? So that's a really important, and consistency is important.
Yeah, because I can't remember the exact statistics, but you've got like a second or so to make an impression, haven't you, before people click elsewhere? So it really, really matters.
Yeah, it really does. It does. And I mean, really, it doesn't take you that long to kind of look and, get an impression of people. And that's important because, like I said, if you are looking for somebody that's kind of like touchy-feely but their website looks all corporate and big business, then you're like, oh, I guess we're not a good fit. But in reality, that person might be that, but they didn't know how to make a website that looked like that, so they took the nearest template and used them like, oh, at least I got it up. And it's like, yeah, but what good is that really doing you?
Yeah, exactly. It's a waste of their time. So you're the go-to person to get a website that is going to reflect your business and yourself. You'll work with people. That is really, really, it's a great service because, yeah, you're right. If it doesn't reflect who you are, I know it's the internet and it's not real, but people kind of feel other people on the internet. It's like their
Yeah.
aura comes out of their website. So yeah, good service. um, so that's what you do with your sister and your husband now, and you manage it all with a daughter. How old is your daughter, by the way?
She's 2.5.
2.5. Oh my God, that's hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a handful.
Oh, I can bet. Have you got any advice of women who want to step into business and who do want to have a website? What would they need to think about, first of all, before they even come to you? What would be the main things to think about to get a website going?
I think the biggest thing that they should think about is what do they want to get out of it, and what do they want people to get out of it, because I mean, yes, a website can have like a blog or a shopping cart or whatever. It's like, but at the end of the day, you have to know what you want people to get out of it, because if you're not selling anything, then okay, but so why do you have it? But at the end of the day, you are selling something. Are you selling yourself? Are you selling your products? Are you selling someone else's products? But if you don't know what your end goal is, then everything else isn't going to make any sense, and all the decisions are going to be that much harder. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is, what do you want people to do while they're there, and what are you trying to get them to buy? Like, if you don't know those two things, you should figure that out first before dumping a whole lot of money into it and then realizing, wait, that's not right, and then having to go back and do it again. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a really good place to start.
So get your business clarity, then come and see Patricia, and she can help you do the technical stuff. She'll sort the rest out for you. I love the idea, your website, Save Your Time Biz Solutions, because websites are very time consuming, and you will take that problem off of someone else's hands and do that for them. Is that the concept that you wanted, that you're going to be there to be of service to someone else and make their life a lot easier?
Yeah. I mean, we just finished actually working with one of the other goddesses, and she said she's been working on her website for like a year, and then we got it done in 2 weeks. And she was like, and that was like way better than anything I could have come up with in that year, or God knows how long it would have taken me. She's like, and you guys figured it out in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not really a point of comparison, because this happens to be what we do and what we're good at. But exactly, it's like we want to take that time out from them having to kind of figure everything out and have us do the basics for them and have us do the branding and all that stuff. So that's one less thing for them to worry about.
I think also what people don't realise, because there are these make a free website and you just drag and drop, and it all seems very easy, but like you said, it's all the same as everybody else, and they think that people think that they can do their websites and they're saving time, which means that they're saving money, but in the long run, if the website isn't working for you, you've just wasted your time, and you'll be better off spending your money on something that gets done properly and quickly.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes like people who try to figure out WordPress actually has a really steep learning curve. I mean, I happen to like working with it, and we've done it for a while, but it has a really steep learning curve for new people. And so they'll be like, "Oh, I can do it myself because your services are too expensive." And I'm like, "Okay, and that's fair, but what happens when a month from now your website still isn't up? How much business have you lost in a month? How much time have you invested in it, and how much is your time worth that you can tell me it was more expensive to not harm me than to do it yourself?" You know what I mean? Like, I think that far too many people don't look at time as a resource, but it is. And you have less time than money. You can make more money. You can't make more time. So if you're sitting here and losing like days and weeks trying to do this yourself, are you really telling me it was less expensive than to just hire me and have me just get it done and have it be completed already?
And they probably like stressed up to the eyeballs as well in that time as well.
And that's what I keep trying to tell people. I'm like, I could just do this for you, and then it would be done, and it would look fabulous, and you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But that's really frustrating because, and I understand, as a business owner, you don't always have tons of money to invest. I totally understand that, and that is fair. But I also think it comes to a point where you have to ask yourself, is it more expensive to do it myself, or to find a way to hustle that money and just pay somebody else to do it, to get it off my plate and to have it be done? Like, I don't think enough people really stop and think about what their own time is worth and what it's costing them in terms of their time, that by the time they break down the math, you're like, wait, I ended up spending $10,000 on this website because of how much time I lost and how much business I've lost, that all of a sudden Patricia's prices seem like a bargain. You know what I mean? Like, but not enough people stop and really do that math.
I agree. And they could have spent their $10,000 in time. They've got extra stress, and it could still not be finished. So
exactly, yeah. At the end of the day, you may not even be done, but you have all this time put into it, and you have all this stress, and you have all this time that you could have spent creating your own products or working with clients or doing whatever it is you should be doing instead of focusing on this stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why we want to do this. And I was reading a blog entry the other day about telling your prospects how much you love what you do so that they feel good about handing it over to you. And I'm like, you know what, I don't think we do that enough. But yes, we do actually really happen to love doing this stuff. I mean, my dad was a computer geek, and he raised us to be computer geeks, so it's just what we happen to love doing. So whatever we can do, and if it happens to help out other people along the way and make some money, that's great. But yeah, we mostly do this because we like the excuse to be at the computer all day.
Oh, I love that. It comes across that you're really passionate about your business and what you do. Obviously, your rebranding and refocus is exactly what you're meant to be doing. You lit up when you started to talk about the work that you do. So it's obviously what you're meant to be doing. And of course, when you're doing things that you're meant to be doing, you're investing an extra oomph of energy into the website. Yeah. So it's a win-win for people who want their website done, and that's saveyourtimebizsolutions.com. Go see Patricia. Well, thank you so much for spending this time and telling me about your business and what you do, and it's been fascinating talking to you, Patricia.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Can you just remind people what you do, where they can find you? Because we now know that they need you.
Yes, so we do websites from concept to design to the technology stuff, so you don't have to worry about any of it. And you can find us at www.saveyourtimebizsolutions.com or at Facebook under Save Your Time Biz Solutions, or Twitter under @SiteBizSolutions.
I'll put links in the video as well. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And I'm sorry about the video was going a little bit crazy there. The wind was blowing it. Sorry. Thank you so much. I'm Lynn Thurman. You can find me at lynnthurman.com. And until next time, bye. Bye, Patricia.
Bye.